All right. All right. So yeah, so that's Photoshop. Photoshop has smaller versions that you can use on Android platform, but currently the main platform with all the tools is through Windows platform, and that's actually the best platform. You can also use it in Mac. So I sent a link for downloading the current version that I'm using for free. Although if you're doing it for commercial, I'd probably advise you purchase it from the Adobe website. So this is one of the techniques, one of the trending techniques with Photoshop. I don't know if you guys have seen this image of Langat that has been trending with memes. Somebody who's like very, very small, ameshikilia mahindi like so big, and then anajaribu kuiroast. Like it looks realistic, but then again, it's not. So like you can be able to see up here is this person seated on his mobile phone. Such kinds of images, you can be able to do this actually very quickly if you want to trend something, or if you want to just create something that to captivate or capture the market that you're trying to target. So you can do photo manipulation for such kinds of things. You can use Photoshop for creating such kinds of things. Yeah, so so that's basically the software that we're getting into today, and hopefully you'll be able to learn in no time and be able to do such kinds of things for fun. So let me just try to search. There's a website I created when I was way back in 2014. This is actually my first website. So this was when I'd started doing Photoshop. So most of the designs here, way back in 2014, I've never done any editing on this software. So on this website, so you can be able to see what I was able to create when I was very curious on how I can be able to manipulate my images. Yeah, so I used to create things like this. Not really good designs, but I mean, you could put this as a portrait and it will look really good. You can be able to see something like this, photo manipulation. Yeah, layers quickly done. Yeah, be able to see something like this. You can create something like this. So actually, this is what we're getting into today on background manipulation. So this is one of the main things that I want you to take away from here, because it's one of the most important tools that you're only going to get in Photoshop, and background manipulation selection tools, and the tools that keep pushing me back to Photoshop. Yes. All right. So let's dive into it. All right. So if you open Photoshop for the first time, this is the screen you're going to get after you skip all the ads, and yeah, this is that screen that you're going to get, whichever version you're using. If you're using CS6, CC, or if you're using CS4, you're still going to get this version. And the thing about the updates, you get more elements to use, but the core elements still remain the same. Like for example, the menu bars, the way they are arranged, they're still going to be there. So I usually like to use a dark platform to create contrast, so that I can be able to visualize the image that I'm creating. So let's get started on it. So when you want to kick off on your design, you just go to File and then New, and then you're going to get this pop out, which is going to give you a variety of options. First of all, you can do the name. So what design are we going to do? Let's do a political cutout. Political background change. We'll choose a politician who we can cut out from the background, and through that you can be able to see. Okay, so the width and the height, these are the pixels. Every single image, I don't know, let me just bring an image right here so that you're able to see that. Okay, let's load this image. Open image in new tab. Every single image has pixels. Pixels are essentially single colored points that are spread throughout the whole image to create what the image looks like. So pixels, if you're in the previous class, contain like one value which represents either the color or the intensity of the color. Let's say it's black, and then let me just can't zoom through there. Let me bring this, copy this image there that you're able to see. Yeah. So essentially, so if you're able to see this image, if I keep zooming in, you're going to start to see like boxes and boxes. Like you see, you're going to see like this is dark brown, and then this is darker, maybe beige. If you look at this point, it's going to get a bit yellow. This is when I'm zooming in. So those are pixels. Those are pixels, and the more an image has, the more of the pixels, the more clearer it is to view. So if you're watching a YouTube video and you're watching it in for 20 pixels, or you're watching it in 1080, so that's now the resolution. The resolution is like the number of pixels within the image, how they are arranged, which makes it which enhances its clarity. Like if you do an image in 4K, it's going to have very many of these boxes. It's going to have like very many of those boxes. But if you do an image in, let me now take it back to Photoshop. Let's say 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. Okay, 100 by 100. And then let me put this image there so that I'm able to illustrate. You see, like this one right now is in 100 by 100 pixels. What that means is that it has 100 pixels up here, 100 pixels down there. So you can be able to like see the pixels, but the image is very blurry. But if you, let me now adjust this to 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. And put the image side by side so that you're able to see. But if I'm working with 1,000 by 1,000, you can see you're not able to see the pixels anymore. It's a bit clearer, but now it still has the pixels, but they are 1,000 pixels. So what this means is that the pixels that are going to keep on dividing, and the more pixels that you have, the more contrast, the more detailing you have in the image. So the more clarity you're going to have within the image. So what you want to do when you're creating a new file is that you want to work with a pixel ratio that's not too big, because if you work with a lot of pixels, let's say you work with 10,000 to 10,000, you're going to have a very big sized image, and hapo hivyo sasa utasumbuliwa na bandwidth. You also have problems with size and storage. So if you're able to see, Photoshop usually estimates the size of the image right here that you're going to create. Like if I put 10,000 images, you see the size is going 10,000 pixels. See the size is going to rise. So you should work with a size that's appropriate for what you're doing. For instance, I usually love to work with 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels, because many mobile phones usually range around this pixel ratio. So for the people who are learning UI UX, you can be able to search what pixel ratio is the best for your website or for the particular devices that you're designing, and from that you can be able to get the kind of pixel ratio, let's say for landing page, pixel ratio, landing page web. You can be able to see you can be able to get this information so that you're able to work within the good range, so that you don't get a blurry image, or you get an overstretched or a big sized image. So I usually like to work with 1,000 to 1,000 with width and height. If you're doing something for social media, you should probably work with an aspect ratio of 1:1. What this means is it's a square image. As you know, if you have a square image for WhatsApp profile, you're just going to put it direct. It's going to fit. You're not going to have to crop it. So if you put 1,000 to 1,200, now that means it's going to be portrait, because the height is going to be longer than the width. The width is going to be shorter. And if you put 1,400 by let's say 1,000, so that's now the aspect ratio. It's going to be longer. So usually if you set the standard to international paper, if you're doing print, you can be able to get the sizes. For instance, A4 you can be able to see, let me put it in pixels. For an A4 paper, if you're doing print, it's going to give you a working of 2,480 by 35,008. So you can be able to get the sizes there. If you're working with web, there are screens that are 800 by 600. There are screens that are 1280 by 1024. For instance, the screen that I'm actually displaying right now is 1600 by 1200. Its resolution fits to this. So yeah. So let's do square. Let's assume I'm doing this for social media. I'm doing something for social media. So it can be able to go into Twitter, Facebook without any kind of cropping. So 1,000 by 1,000. For resolution is like the zooming, like the zooming into the clarity. Resolution is like if you put 1,000 by 1,000, it's like a base. So let's say you've set the resolution to 72 pixels per inch. What this means is it's going to take this 1000, and then it's going to use 72 as a base to try and calculate for you. So usually resolution, if I put resolution as 10, even if I do the width 1000 by 1000 pixels, it's still going to have very poor clarity because of the resolution. Resolution is like clarity. Yeah, it's like clarity. So you're going to get a lot of blurriness. So the best resolution to use for digital media, something that you're spreading online, is just 72. But for print media is 300 pixels per inch. I usually love for things like UI UX, I like using 150 because I haven't gone too far into increasing the size, and I haven't gone too low on the quality. But if it's purely for social media and spreading out there, I like to use 75 because there's this thing about WhatsApp. When you send the image, even if you put your resolution as 300, it's still going to be converted into lower quality, still going to be brought back into 75 pixels per inch. That's why WhatsApp loses. When you send images through WhatsApp, they lose quality. So to preserve data, of course. So working with 75, color mode, RGB. I told you about RGB and CMYK. CMYK if you're doing printing, RGB if you're doing screen or you're spreading it through digital media. Let it remain as 8-bit, 16 more. So work with 8-bit. Okay. So here we have what we have created. Here it is. So something about Photoshop. Photoshop works with pixels. So there are two kinds of graphics design techniques. Can I call them techniques? Yeah, techniques. So the first way you can decide to go is through working with shapes. The second technique you can decide to go through is somebody's trying to join. Let me just allow them in. Yeah, the second technique you can use is through working with vectors. So you can either work with pixels or vectors. Vectors do not have this resolution and pixels thing that we've been talking about, because vectors do not lose quality. When you zoom in, they're always going to be clear. So if you design something in vector form, if you want to print it, unaweza print like if you want to print A4 size, you can print A4 size, no quality loss. If you want to print A0 size, if you want to print the whole world, the whole planet, if you have a machine that can be able to print the whole planet size, yeah, you can print it na itapoteza quality, and you can design if you're designing in vector form. But if you're doing in pixel form, now the resolution and the pixels are the ones that are going to determine the print size that you're going to give, so that it does not lose quality. So you have to decide. So Photoshop usually works with pixel form. The good thing about pixel form is you can be able to do photo manipulation and such kinds of things. But now the bad thing about, okay, the good thing also on vectors is that it does not lose quality. The bad thing about picture form is the losing of quality, and the bad thing about vector form is that vectors are very hard to create. You have to like literally draw one line at a time. So vectors are very easy to work with when you're working with shapes, because if you're trying to like take a picture and convert it into vector form, you're going to get Yeah, let me illustrate this so that you can be able to get me. Vector the arts. Yeah, so vectors, they don't lose quality, but vectors you have to draw every single thing. Like if you're able to see this shade, if you wanted it to be realistic like an image, that will take you even a whole year of just designing, because you're going to have to draw the shade, the first line of shade, to make it look realistic, because there's changing intensity within the shade. But when you're working with vectors, you realize that um, you just do the curve. You have black, you have brown, and then you have a lighter shade of okay, a darker shade of brown, and you have black. You have like four colors he's working with here to create the vector art. So that's the thing about vectors. You cannot like do an image that is in pixel form into vectors, or you're going to get a lot of contrast in between. So vector art takes a lot of time because you have to draw every single curve to convert it into vector. You have to do such kinds of things. But now pixels is easier because you already like you have the different intensities, the spread of the intensities, like the histogram that I showed you yesterday. So you have very many colors right there to work with, and they blend into each other very smoothly. That's the good thing about pixels, and also the good thing about vectors, and the disadvantages. So you can be able to decide. So for pixels, I usually prefer working with Photoshop because it has all the tools to deal with pixels. For vectors, I usually prefer using Illustrator or CorelDRAW. So let's now dive into the tools of Photoshop. All right. So hmm, so let me trace an image here. Decided to do politics Kenya. Let's choose something here which will remove the background so that you can be able to learn about that too. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Let me just say, okay, let me use this one. Uh, or let's choose a president of another country due to bias. I used to like Obama. Yeah. Okay, let's take this one. Sawa sawa. So I've just copied it and pasted it right here. So let me just scale it and then I'll start showing you the tools. So we'll be using this image for our illustrations. So the first, if you can be able to see this, if you can be able to see this, Photoshop is usually segmented. The tools usually segmented. The first tools are move and selection tools, and then we move into crop tools, and then this is a color picker, and then now we move into retouching and painting tools, then drawing tools, and then navigation tools. So the most important tools that you need to know as a beginner to be able to quickly cut through the curve, the learning curve, are these tools, the top tools. These are like the core tools. the move and the selection tools. They can help you a lot. The next thing that you need to know is layers. So this is the section where layers are. In other versions of softwares, you can find Photoshop, you can find the layers right down there, but they're usually around here. So if your Photoshop is distorted and you cannot be able to see this correctly, you can just go to Window, Workspace, and set it in Essentials, Workspace, and reset Essentials, so that it will revert to its original form, how it's supposed to be. Sometimes when you're clicking, you find yourself dragging this out, especially when you're starting. So to just revert to the original workspace, you just reset, and then it reverts to the original workspace. Or if you lose some of these things, so these are called to get you started. The only thing you need to learn to be able to like remove a background is the layers part and then the selections part. So let's start with the layers part. So if you're able to see the way you're able to manipulate images in Photoshop is that they are stacked up as layers. Kama kuwekelea tuseme mkate, unaekelea mkate ya chini, unaekelea ingine ya juu, unaekelea ingine ya juu. So so the way they are stacked, the way you can be able to do manipulation on any photo is that these layers, they usually stacked. You can have the lowest layer as the background and the layer to the top as the foreground. For instance, to demonstrate this, now the stack, let me take another image, copy it, and then take it back to Photoshop, copy it back there. Okay, we just size it down a bit so that you're able to see. So there is this stacking of layers. So if you're able to see, there is the background layer, and then on top of the white background layer, there is this photo, and then on top of it, there is now this other photo. If I take this photo, below this photo, it goes behind it, but it goes in front of the background. So that is literally like the basic of basic tool that you need to learn in Photoshop. Like, you need to know how to navigate through the layers to be able to reach what you're creating. So in layers, you can be able to do grouping of layers. You can group these two. Right click, yeah. Or you can ungroup them. Yeah, so you can be able to duplicate the layers, or you can be able to delete them just by pressing delete on your keyboard. So you can be able to do a lot of things with layers, and this helps you get around the layers. So let's now dive into the tools. So after you've understood about the layouts, you now dive into the key tools. The first tool is a move tool. Let's say you have this layer, you click the layer to activate it. It highlights itself in blue, so you can be able to move that layer. If you have this other layer, it won't move because you've activated this layer. So to activate another layer to be able to move it, you just click the other layer to be able to move it. So that's how you navigate through the layers, moving out the layers. So let me just this eye button means that you can be able to deactivate it in case you're working with a lot of things. Sometimes you just want to deactivate things so that you can be able to see the lower layers clearly when you're working. So that's what I've done here, but the layer is still there. So we'll be working with layer 1 because we want to remove the background. And then there is the background layer, which is white. It's locked, so you cannot be able to move it or do anything. You can also lock the other layers. Okay, so let's start with the tools. So as you've seen, the first tool is moving, the moving tool. The second tool is a marquee tool. It's a rectangular marquee tool. It's used to select in rectangles. And then the third tool is a polygonal lasso tool. What it usually does is you can select it, but it's like you have a ruler and you're like drawing the lines. So you can determine the kind of selection. You can create the kind of shape that you want with this tool. So the fourth tool is a magic wand. What a magic wand does is that it automatically detects the color, a similar color that's around the place. Let's say this is light blue, sky blue. So you can be able to just select it and it selects everything within the image or within the settings that you've done of the similar color. So you can be able to see that it has selected that as I wanted. You can also see it has selected white, selected dark, selected black. Yeah, so that's what a magic selection tool does. So you can be able to see that these three tools are selection tools. The fourth one, not very important, but this is a crop tool. Yeah. So you better be careful when you're using the crop tool so that you don't alter your aspect ratio. You don't make it. You see, I was working with a square tool, so with a square canvas. So when you're using the crop tool, you can be able to change your aspect ratio. Yeah. So don't crop. Okay. So let me move this right there. And let's dive into the selection tools so that I can show you how you can be able to remove this. So when you're using any of the three selection tools, you're going to realize that there's going to be this menu bar popping out. So every tool that you select has its own options on refining the tool itself.
Hello. Hello. Hello, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Steve, now.
Oh, wow. Was did I disappear a long time ago? You guys have been following through?
You disappeared sometime.
Oh, sorry about that. So I'll just quickly retract through the through what I've gone through. Yes, so I'll just quickly refresh what I've said. So these first three tools are the most important tools when you're doing selection. So there is a square marquee tool
Oh, we are
which
following.
selects in square. Sorry, you're able to get that part. There is a lasso tool which selects in linear, and then there's a magic wand which selects the colors, which selects the colors that you have pointed to. For instance, you have pointed to black, it selects now the black color only. So yeah, there are those tools, and if you realize every single time you are selecting a tool, there's going to be a change on this bar, and that change is because this is what is going to refine like the tool. So for the selection tools, for the three selection tools, these these ones are usually the ones that you use to do the edit. For instance, usually the most important part of that bar of refining of the selection tool. So for instance, if you do this, if you have this activated, you're just going to have a new selection every single time you're clicking and selecting. But if you do this one, you're going to have merging of the parts. Now, if you do the other one, you're going to have subtraction of the parts. Now you're going to see how this plays hand in hand to selecting and removing a tool. If you do this one, you're going to have a sort of a blend. It's going to do a subtraction of the outer part and just leave the inner part. So I usually like using the first three tools because they're usually the fastest and the easiest to use in my case applications. So the fastest way to go through selecting this image is through a magic wand. That is the fastest way, but the best way to select is through a polygonal lasso tool. That's the best way. You'll see why in a moment. So I've now selected the magic wand, and I've selected an addition um, tool, an addition specification for the magic wand. So every single time I click, it's going to add onto the selection. So the first thing I'm going to select is this blue, the sky blue. So for the magic wand, if you select and you look up here, you're going to see that it's going to have tolerances. What tolerance means, how far is it going to go on that color. So if I select 12, it's going to go between lighter and darker intensities of the color that I've selected by 12. So now let me just do a new selection so that you're able to see. Really select first. Yeah. So if you see me selecting it, it has just selected the upper part. Like this is too dark because I've done 12. But if I do it as 32, You can do it even as 50. If I do it as 50, it's going to select the darkest kind of color, the highest intensity, and the lowest intensity of the color I've selected. So if it's sky blue, it's going to select, I think, even this and these colors. Yeah, you see, it has selected those colors because of the intensities. So I'm going to reduce my tolerance because I just want it to select this background, but not going inside here. And I just want it to select the sky blue, not even the white. So I want to reduce the tolerance so that you can stick to just the sky blue intensity. So let me just do it as 10. And then I don't want it to be continuous. So I don't want it to dive outside the selection. So yeah. So you see, it hasn't dived outside to this other part because I've selected contiguous. So I can select this part. Let me put add so that you can select this part, select this one, select this one, select this one, select this one. Yeah, so I've selected the blue. Yeah, let me just crop it. But you should maintain, if you're doing some design for social media, you should try and maintain square ratio. Let me just crop it so that we just focus on the image itself. Yeah, select this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, this part. Okay. So after I've selected that, I can right click and do layer via cut. So that means ni kama tu kitambo venye watu walikuwa nakata magazeti, cut the selected part from this layer. So if I do layer via cut, it's going to cut it out. So you see, itabakisha hiyo part. Now I've deactivated the layer below. It has cut it out and separated it into 2 layers. So if you can see, I've cut it out, the upper part, and then you have the selection remaining there. So that's essentially what that cut part does. So if you're able to see, previously it had this, now it doesn't have the sky. So you are now seeing the background because the background is the one that's below it. So if I wanted to add another layer here, a layer that I can change colors, important for UI UX designers who are not sure about their colors, you just go and add a solid layer. Just go down here and then click on solid color. So you're able to see, you're able to work with different colors to see. So it's just going to put a different solid color out there. So you can be able to change different colors to try and assess what kind of background color do you want if it's just a solid color. So you can be able to do that. You can be able to see that it has come below the layer. That's why you're seeing that blue. So if I still want to manipulate the solid, I can double click this, and this will pop up, and then you can be able to still change the colors. Yeah, so that's actually the fastest way of changing a background. So of removing something from background. So you can be able to see I've removed the sky. So now through a magic wand, just selecting the similar colors. But the disadvantage of using a magic wand, it's fast, but you can be able to see at the edges, it's going to leave a bit of shades of the color because of the tolerance. If you put too much tolerance, it's going to now go inside because it's going to now start detecting white. Now that's the disadvantage of using a magic wand. To avoid that, you should use a lasso tool. So a lasso tool is easy. How you work with the lasso tool, you can just do clicks and draw the shape all around the head. I'm putting add onto the selection. Yeah, so you can keep selecting it until you finish. So if you're doing something on product design, you're doing something about that, and let's say you have a shoe you want to showcase, you want the shoe to be in a white background, not in a dirty background or something of the sort, you can be able to use these tools to just select the shoe and remove it from the background. So I haven't really refined it because of time, but if you see something like this, like you've selected outside the selection zone that you wanted, you can change the mode up here, change to now deselect. When I select, so you can see it deselects the part that I've selected, but when I change to this other mode, it adds on to the selection. You're able to see, so you can use that to refine edges such as this. They're usually shortcuts. You can just use alt and click. Alt and click varies between these two. You see, like I'm just using alt and click. You'll be able to see it's varying. So yeah. So you can do that, and then after you've done the selection, you see the part that I've selected, you just do Control J, and then the layer below it, or Control J, or in other words, layer via copy. And then the layer now copies itself. So selecting the layer below it, you can be able to see what I've cut out. So yeah, so that's how you cut something out of its own background. So you can now cut Obama directly out. So for the lasso tool, there's usually another better tool called a magnetic lasso tool. This attaches to the varying contrasts of the pixels. So for instance, hapa hivi ni black na hapa ni white, it's going to go right through, right at the contrast line. So it's just going to catch, so you don't have to click. So the magnetic, I'm just going to lead it, but it's going to just select automatically. So you're able to see it selecting automatically through, yeah. So it's actually very quick. And then now because of this, I can deselect this part. So you can see I've changed up here from adding to selection to remove from selection. And then I've removed that. Yeah, so now after I've selected it and I can see that it's okay, select my layer and then Control J or copy. I usually like using Control J, it's faster, or layer via copy. Same as, yeah. So it copies onto its own layer, and then now you remove that layer. So you can be able to see I've just quickly removed the background, and now I can start interfering with the background, putting. So if you're doing a LinkedIn profile picture or something of the sort, or if you're doing a passport, you can be able to create your passport quickly. Just crop yourself out, and that's it. Or if you want the image to go out without a background, you can save it as PNG format. So that's how you usually cut it out. So I've seen that my time is almost done. So I'll skip on to the saving part, and then now I'll show you use cases. I'll do let's say a simple flyer on this, so that you can be able to see how you can be able to manipulate this. Yeah, so when you can be able to see I've deselected all, I've like turned off the eye in all of them. So the only visible layer in this in this image is this one that you're seeing right here. So that means the rest of the background is transparent. So you can be able to save this, but save it as PNG. PNG is portable PNG, portable network graphic. So PNG is the one that goes with without background. JPG is the one that usually has background, but the one that usually have to think about the so the resolution that you're exporting out with. So there are a variety of other formats like Photoshop RAW. This one is usually gotten directly from the camera. You cannot be able to view it unless you have a special machine. There is .tiff. .tiff is the one used for large format printers, digital printers is one. So there is portable bitmap. This one is it just goes out in gray intensities, gray color intensities. So it's usually used mostly for machines, laser cutting or such kinds of formats. You even have 3D formats. I don't know if I have 3D format here. You don't have 3D formats. No, I don't have a 3D format here, but if you do export, you can get a 3D format. I've done save as. So save as, it works with the original file. So if you want to come and work with a Photoshop image again, another time, you can do PSD. PSD is now the Photoshop original file, which saves it as it is with the layers and all that. But if you save it as JPG or PNG or the other formats, it merges the layers and just puts it as one image. So you cannot be able to work on it at another time. So I'll just save it as PSD. Let's say class 1. Background removal. Yeah, so class 1 background removal. Yeah, so I'll just save it as PSD. So this pops out, okay. Apart from that, I'll save it as PNG. PNG is now the one without the background, the one that goes without the background. And I can also save it as JPG, but now JPG will, if you don't have a background, like in my case, JPG will put it in white background. So yeah, so those are the formats that you need to know, and that's how you can now like crop out the image and be able to like play around with it. So if you know the layers, and if you know these tools on how to crop them out, you can be able to now create something like a flyer. You can be able to do a simple flyer out of it. You can be able to do something like a product advertisement. Let's say let me just do a sample product advertisement. Let me do shoe. Simple shoe ad. So let's say I take this image. I want to sell this image. No, let me take this one. Let me take this image and show you what that tool, what you can use to do with that tool. I think, yeah. Yeah, so taking this image. I like this one better. I like the positioning of the feet. So you don't have to take your shoes to the studio to have a professional. Let me just do a one-to-one crop. Yeah. Okay. Do a background. Yes. We can. Let me group this work, the Obama work, and hide the image. So if you have the white background right there, and then I've gone through to the website, copied the image, and then I've gone back to Photoshop, put the image there. I can free transform it to increase its size while holding shift so that I can be able to see it clearly. I don't like this image, it's blurred, not high quality. You hold shift when you're resizing so that it does not do things like this. See, it does not do things like that. So you hold shift so that it does not get distorted. Anyway, let's work with it, even if it's blurred. Yeah, so I'll just start off with doing a magic lasso tool to automatically try and detect the shoe. Where it goes, yeah, there. Magic lasso tool. Thank you for being this fast. Yeah, add on to. That's the best you can do. So, yeah. Yes. So I've shifted to the polygonal lasso tool. Remove from background this part. You can zoom in if you're not seeing clearly. If you have a mouse, you can use the middle wheel button to zoom in like that, or zoom out, or you can use these tools right here below to zoom in, and then go back to your tool. I like to use the mouse button so that because it's faster. Yeah, so Alt, remove from background. Yeah, right here, add to background. So just working with that, I'm able to now remove it. There via copy. Voila. The image is a bit blurry. And then now I want to separate this into two individual layers. You can be able to see here, layer via cut, so that I can have this shoe and the other shoe. And then I can probably, I want this one to go below. Yeah, something like that. I want to now select both of them and then increase their sizes. Not very clear, but I feel like you're able to get. If you had high resolution images, it would be amazing. So if you've taken quality images with your iPhone or something, you can be able to do very good images. Yes. So I can now take my logo and put it there. Something very quick. saved my logo as PNG. Yeah, so I can, yeah, by there you can drag things. They'll come as long as you haven't selected anything. Yeah, so I'll minimize it. It's somewhere right there. And then maybe put the price here. 6.99. I don't know. Today I was designing something about weddings. And then I saw something getting sold at $6.99. I don't know why they put prices at 99. Yeah, so I can also this is a square tool to make the design a bit more interesting. I can do just a simple line cutting across there, and then change its color, something red, to guide the person to the price, so that the person can see that there's a shoe, and then now there's a price there. And then you can double click this to change the color to white. So some of the tools here, like the add a text tool, you're going to learn this. So from that you're able to see, if the shoe was in high resolution format, you'll be able to see a very clear shoe here. And something I told you about design is the higher the resolution, the better the image. Yeah. So you should always like think of working with high resolution images. Let me also change this logo. Change the color of this logo. Into something similar like the shoe. Yeah. And then what we can do finally is probably use this image to my advantage. Put feet there. And then, but I wanted legs. Just somebody wearing the shoe. Yeah, somebody wearing the shoe right there. So you can actually see how I'm using the layers to my advantage. Like this one is the lowest bottom layer. I've reduced the opacity, and then there is this layer with the first shoe, this one right here, and then there is this one cutting across the logo. I can do, and then there is now the price. Yeah, so if if you're able to, yeah, so if you have a product you want to advertise, you can do something like that. Something like very quick, something very quick with layers. Yeah, you can be able to do something quick like that to advertise it. And the good thing about Photoshop is once you've learned on how to do the manipulations, you can do. And once you've created something interesting, that's something that fits into your theme, you can create more things like this. Like let's say you have other products that are coming up, you can use this to like let's say, let me now look for a higher resolution image. This one looks better. So what I can do, I can remove this. Just let the price and the design remain. As I told you, when you're removing this eyesight, you're making the design, you're making that layer not visible or visible. So I've made most of the layers invisible, apart from this layer, the price layer. Yeah, so I've just remained with those. So let me take this to behind there. Yeah, so I want it to come to pop out. The way I can do that is I can cut it out to just have one shoe. If you zoom in, you're going to be more accurate. But because the class is about to end, let me just do it quick. Yeah, so layer via cut, and then take this layer behind this, so that you're now these two layers. I've selected the two layers. I've clicked Control and selected the two layers without selecting the rectangular layer. Now I'm going to resize those two layers. I'm going to size them up. Yeah, so you're able to see things are starting to look quite interesting here when you're working with high quality image. It's always good to work with a high quality image. So yeah, so you can look for somebody who's wearing the shoe, or put the original photo with that person who was wearing the shoe right there. We can use this. To our advantage. And then I can post this on IG if I'm selling the shoe or something. Whatever you're doing to, yeah. Just the same way that I posted the other one. Yeah. I don't want this part visible. Just want the shoe visible there. So I'm going to select it. And then you can do delete to delete that part, the selected part on the layer, on the active layer. Yeah, so I also want this opacity to go down, go a bit lower. Yeah. So you're able to get the gist of it. Able to get the gist of it on how you can take advantage of these tools to, to create something simple to advertise yourself. So that's it. There are so many things you can do with the remove background tool. You can, if you were wearing, one of the most interesting things that I've done is I took one image where a person was wearing a coat, a black coat, and then nikamvalisha textured clothes like vitenge nini nini. I did like 5 different kinds of wears for that person. Now, if you're able to visualize it and you're creating a landing page for a website for a fashion show, or for a clothes selling company, what you can do is that you can take one photo of somebody posing and then you give them different kinds of shirts that are within the designers. So you can cut off the part where the person is wearing the shirt and put the textures. So that way you're able to like visualize the different kinds of clothes that person is wearing. Let me see if there's something like that done here. I can show you as an example. You can be able to even do something like this. He's just cut it off and then illuminated the cut off part. So you see, you can be able to design clothes, different kinds of clothes. Like this model posing, you see she's being dressed in different dresses. Like this is the exact same dress, but what they've done right here is, if I can be able to quickly like illustrate this on Photoshop. This is why you see things online, alafu you order them, alafu nakuja unapata like like hizi vitu si nini, it's not the same thing that I ordered when you're wearing it, because they dressed the model with Photoshop. Like they just took the image and then dressed the model with Photoshop. So yeah, na inakaa exactly like it's that. So this is a magnetic lasso tool. It won't even take long. Like this is something that they do like very quick, because there's no distraction behind the background. So you can be able to see I've copied it. I've copied it to another layer. So I have now the dress alone. Now I can bring it to the model and then start resizing it for the model size. Yeah. So the arms need to go to the arms. Yeah. The arms are coming out of there. So I can start now focusing on the details, on the dressing details. Yeah. Like where do these go? Where do those go? And then I can also bring the arm of the model out. So I just take the arm of the model and then copy it. So this is the arm of the model. The model is still behind there, but this is just the arm of the model. So I'll take the layer of the arm of the model and bring it in front. Yeah, you see. I can refine it. I can go in there. I can remove the nails. Can do such kinds of things. Also, delete this part. so that it looks like the arm is coming out of the cloth, the actual cloth. So the cloth is going like this. So to make it look like that, I can delete that part and also this part. To make it similar look like that. So I can keep on refining this until So I feel like you get the gist of it. Also remove these white parts and do some shadows here. Yeah, and you're starting to see that you can actually do such kinds of things. Yeah. So delete this part. Yeah. So yeah, with a bit of time, you can create something that people won't be able to tell apart. Yeah. So you can create something like that. So you can be able to see they just put the arm right there. They cut out the arm. They cut it out well so that you're not able to see this part. And then now they put a shadow below it, and that's enough. That's enough. And then they bulge the dress out to touch the other part. So yeah, so you can be able to dress someone. You can be able to dress someone, Valisha mtu nguo very quickly, as in it's not something as in you will take time to do. Like they bulge this out. So it could look like, yeah, you see, starting to look, it's not like this is something in nimekelea tu on top, but because of the layers, because I put the hand on top, the body is still behind, but I've put the hand on top. This is the hand, this is the dress. So anything that needs to come on top comes on top. Everything that needs to go on the background goes on the background. I put a bit of shadow, maybe let the hair drip outside the dress a bit. So cut the hair, bring it to the front layer, starts to look realistic. So that's how you can work with the tools to get all kinds of creative. If you want to do designing of dresses, product advertisement, if you want to put a sky on your architectural rendering, you can be able to do that. And yeah, if you want to pursue politics and you're creating a flyer, product design, so you see you're able to create such kinds of things with the simple tool that I've shown you. So yes, so I don't know, does anybody have a question? Because this is the end of the class. I've dived 30 minutes into the class. Perez, are you still around? Perez and Valerie, I remember teaching you some of this back in office.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to get something here. Let me show you guys something interesting. Graduation. Yes, it is. So there's this guy who was graduating about 4 months ago. 2 months ago. 2 months. I think 2 months ago, yeah. And then alikuwa like, I need to have myself in a graduation gown before the graduation. So that's one of the jobs that I did. And then this is the original photo. I removed the photo from the original background, refined the face a bit. It's pixelated because I did 72 resolution, and then I dressed them in the graduation gown finally. So this is the end product. So you can be able to do such kinds of things and make them look really realistic. Hata unaweza jiweka in America, like I hear that there is this lady in Instagram who used to put herself in Dubai boats nini nini, but don't fake it. That's where Photoshop faking comes from. So that's why people wanakuwa like, this is a Photoshop image because it's faked in a way. So, but you can get all kinds of creative with a simple tool that I've shown you. So this is the end of the class. Thank you guys for joining the class, and see you on Saturday. So Saturday we'll be diving deeper into now the color theory on how you can implement it here, on how to do filters, how to do add-ons, how to do actions. Do you know that you can take an image and convert it into a piece of art in just a second? You just put an action right there, a programmed action, and then you run it, and then all the steps that the original person recorded themselves doing the steps, they replay on your image, and you get a similar kind of art piece. So something very interesting to look forward to. So yes, sawa. So thank you guys for joining the class, and have a good night. Unless there is a question. Yes. All right. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.